Another attorney commercial with big promises? Millions of dollars, practicing law 24 hours a day, blah, blah, blah. Let's get rid of the smoke and mirrors. None of that really matters. What does matter? Having a medical doctor as your attorney. That matters.
Good morning, crew. How are you? It is Wednesday. It is March 18th. Hope those of you that celebrated St. Patty's Day yesterday are doing okay today. You are watching Mornings with Meister here on Peaks2Plains Weather. I am Chief Meteorologist Matt Meister. It is good to have you here as we start off our day. Yesterday was a really nice day across the region. I thought it was fantastic. We hit 72 in Colorado Springs, 76 in Pueblo. We missed the records a little bit, as I thought would be the case. Mid to upper 60s in the valleys. You see for Salida, for Saguache, Del Norte, Alamosa. Even Aspen hit 60 degrees yesterday. This morning, we are starting off warmer for Colorado Springs and Pueblo out across the plains than we were this time yesterday. Some of the mountain valley spots are a little bit cooler. Look at the springs. We're sitting at 50. Canyon, we're at 53. Walsenburg, we're at 54. Now, there are temperature differences across the area. Got some 30s out over the plains, and we've even got Alamosa at 28 this morning, like I thought would be the case. But it is going to be a really quiet stretch here in terms of warmth for the next several days. In fact, we're going to take records out. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Hope you are having a good morning. And somebody says, let's freaking go. This is Jeff. I love it, Jeff. He's ready for the warmth. That's really funny. Mike says good morning to everybody. Teresa says good morning to this everybody as well. If I could ask a favor of you this morning, if you're watching on social media in particular, would you share this post? I want to work on growing Peaks2Plains Weather here on the quiet weather days so that when things are active, we have more people that are getting detailed information for what's coming and for what's happening. You may have missed it yesterday, but we did get a fire to the south of Calhan around Judge Orr Road on Calhan Highway, about 6 miles south of town. It was just west of the wind farm there, and it was 61 acres. Got live reports from the Falcon Fire Department as they were out there. We also had a report from somebody who was about 9 miles away, but who could see it. And I did some live coverage yesterday. So if you could help me grow it on social media, get into the algorithm and everything, I would appreciate it. And Tanya says that she is going to do that. Tanya, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And Janine is saying good morning this morning. Janine, it is good to see you. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about our short-term forecast here. Because as we move through the day today, we do have things going to be a little bit different than what we had yesterday. And it's primarily due to the movement of this ridge of high pressure that we've been talking about that's going to drive the record warmth. And you can see here that circle from Las Vegas to Los Angeles. That is the heart of the upper level ridge. And it was far enough away yesterday that in kind of north-northwest flow, we had a couple clouds moving through here or there. That is actually going to decrease over the next few days. With those clouds moving through, did you see the Kelvin Helmholtz waves that we had? Check this out. David in Colorado Springs sent a video of them. They look like waves in the ocean, right? They don't last very long, but they certainly are cool to see. Dave in Falcon, two Daves, sent me this picture. And what happens is how they form is there's two layers of air in the atmosphere. One is more dense than the other one, and the wind at the top, less dense layer is moving faster. So it creates this short-lived instability that helps to create those waves, and they certainly are cool to see. So I got lots of pictures from those yesterday. Good catch if you get them because, like I said, they typically don't last all that long. In terms of high clouds, I think we'll have a few overhead today. But over the next 48 hours, actually less and less of them because that ridge moves eastward. And so we push the upper level moisture off to the east. We get into sinking air. And so we're just going to have lots of sun as we head into Thursday. There is some fire weather concerns today. It's kind of on the low end of the thresholds, but we do have a red flag warning moving through the afternoon into the evening for Fremont County, for the San Luis Valley. So it includes Alamosa, it includes Canyon City, Penrose, you're included in this, Florence, Del Norte, Saguache, everybody, Monte Vista in the San Luis Valley. And then there is one in effect for northeastern Colorado as well. And you can see why here as we move through the day today. The wind in those areas is a little bit stronger than what it is across the interstate in southern Colorado and out across the eastern plains. And it's getting right onto the lower end of the thresholds for fire weather concerns in the issuance of a red flag warning. Humidity in these areas will be below 15% as well. Let me go back to that map actually, because I want to show you as we move into tomorrow, notice that the wind across the board is lighter for everybody, even in terms of the gusts. And that's because that ridge of high pressure is getting closer and closer. So the main story here for the next few days is the record warmth. Today, the record in the Springs is 80. Pueblo, it's 85. Tomorrow, it's 86. We'll be closer to those records the next couple of days than we're going to be for Friday and Saturday for two reasons. The records are a little bit cooler, and my forecast is actually to be a little bit warmer. And I think on one or both of those days, we probably set the all-time March record for any day in both cities. So how warm are we talking here? Well, today I've got us at 80 in the Springs, 85 in Pueblo, 76 in Alamosa. Like I said, we're right there. Overnight, very, very mild. We're mainly in the 30s and 40s. A couple spots in the hills will stay around 50. High temps tomorrow, a little bit warmer than today. We were talking about a weak little front a couple days ago, maybe moving into eastern Colorado. Not looking like that's going to do anything at all at this point. But Friday, the numbers get warmer. We start seeing 90s show up over the plains. Alamosa's pushing 80. We get there probably, if not on Friday, on Saturday, and well into the 90s over the plains for a couple different reasons. The air is warmer, but the wind starts moving ahead of a cold front that is set to come in on Sunday morning. That will change the back half of the weekend in a really, really big way, and I'll talk about that coming up here in just a little bit. If you want to join the show, you can do so. You can use my links that I've got set up. I put these in my social media posts, and I encourage you to write them down. That fire in Calhan yesterday was really, really kind of cool to cover it together because Melissa Center, who's in the area, was saying, hey, I see this. I see that the smoke is less active. It looks like the firefighters are getting a handle of it. She is aware of these links and thought about using it, but she's like, my cell service out here isn't great. But it got me thinking that a couple things I wanted to pass on to you. These links, when you use them, one of the reasons I have them is it really, really compresses the video that you send. And so you don't need a lot of cell signal. So what I encourage you to do is not only write these down, but put them into your phone as a favorite. Call it P2P Weather or P2PWX and put these in as the website so that, let's say down the road you see a fire or you see a funnel cloud hanging out of the sky or some hail went through and you're safe now and you can go outside if I'm covering the severe weather and you can say, hey, look at the hail that I have. It's this size. Those of you down the road, this is what's coming your way. Peaks2Plains Weather is our weather together. So I'll do a post today, blog post on the website talking about this. I'll share that on social media. I'll share that in the app, encouraging you to put it as a favorite in your phone because, you know, Peaks2Plains Weather, we're all doing this together. It is neighbors helping neighbors. I'm going to take a real short break. We're going to celebrate a good thing in our community, and then I'll talk about the extended forecast crew. It is Wednesday. It is 6:41. You're watching Peaks2Plains Weather. Don't go anywhere.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee.
Here's to 150 years of the state we call home.
At Phil Long Ford Motor City, we've been around for 80 years. That's like 560 in dog years. Basically, we're the top dogs of Colorado. And thanks to our deals, selection, and service, we've earned some pretty loyal customers. And our GM Mark, he's the most loyal guy I know. Even after I chewed up his shoe, it was delicious.
Great trucks, amazing deals, and belly rubs for dogs. Come see why Colorado drives belong Ford and Motor City. Hey guys, where's my shoe?
Emergencies are unpredictable, but you don't have to be unprepared. Peak Alerts sends you targeted emergency alerts in real time for the places that matter to you most, so you know what's happening and what to do next. Know first, act fast. That's the power of Peak Alerts.
All right, we are celebrating good things in our community and an upcoming conference that you might be interested in. Joining me now is Bowen Gillings from the Pikes Peak Writers Conference. Thanks for being here with us on Peaks2Plains Weather.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Bowen, tell me a little bit about the Pikes Peak Writers and the upcoming conference.
Well, the Pikes Peak Writers is an entirely volunteer-run 501c3 nonprofit that's got the mission of educating and promoting and mentoring area writers. That's what we do and have been doing it since 1993 when the first conference was held. And a conference has gone on every year since then, except for 2020 when we had to close down for COVID.
Sure, of course.
But the conference itself, what we're doing is providing workshops on everything from the business of writing to publicity to the craft, all different facets of writing, as well as opportunities to connect with some high-level writers, some New York Times bestsellers who are our keynotes, agents, editors, publishers. All that's going to be there available to the attendees.
Is it more focused on fiction or nonfiction or both?
We primarily focus on fiction, though we do see a lot of biography or memoir writers who attend this conference. But if you are a fiction writer, whether it's short stories, novellas, novels of any genre, that is exactly who we are primarily set up for and where our strength lies. But you'll get a lot of help too if you're somebody looking to work on like a memoir or a family history or something like that, because we have people with that kind of expertise as well. Not a great venue if what you're trying to do is get your first cookbook out there in the world. That's not where our strength lies.
Okay, got it. And how many days is the conference? Where is it at and when is it?
So it runs for 3 days. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, April 17th, 18th, 19th at the Doubletree by Hilton down there off Lake Avenue on East Cheyenne Mountain Boulevard. And we have the whole conference space kind of occupied. The whole event runs, like I said, all those days. Meals are part of the conference, as meals provide a great opportunity for networking, and we also, our keynotes get a chance to talk to you and tell their stories and give you their advice on how to take your career forward.
Awesome. Anything else that we need to know, or how can we find more information about the conference and how to sign up?
Sure. You can go to, or anybody who's interested, go to conference.pikespeakwriters.org, and there you'll see information about the conference, the keynotes and their biographies, agents, editors, publishers that are coming that might interest you, some of the workshops. You can go there. It'll also have links for registering there. Registration is currently open. Registration does close the 10th of April. Okay. And if those people who are hearing this are just curious about it, they've never heard of Pikes Peak Writers or not familiar with the organization, we do offer an incentive. If you register and come to the conference, there's a code you can use. It's Bring a Friend 50 to get $50 off your registration costs, kind of take that cost down a little bit so that you can attend and join in. And that's all shown on the website as well. Or if anybody has more questions about it, they can feel free. They can email me directly at mc@pikespeakwriters.com. That's EMCEE, the position, at pikespeakwriters.com. And I gladly answer any questions they have.
Well, it's kind of cool that, you know, somebody figuring out their next thing, what they're going to do. It's a kind of a one-stop shop to learn it all. So that is very cool. Thanks for making some time today, Bowen. We appreciate it. The upcoming Pikes Peak Writers Conference in Colorado Springs. And thanks for being here with us on Peaks2Plains Weather.
Thank you so much for having me. Hope to see you all at the conference.
So one of the things I want to do here on Peaks2Plains Weather is celebrate our community, celebrate the great work of local nonprofits that is happening, like Pikes Peak Writers. And, you know, this is about community for me, as you know. So let's see what Kathleen says, boo to the heat. Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about it. I mean, At the tail end of my extended forecast here, we're going to go way out into the future together. I think lots of folks, including local firefighters like Brad Doris, who is in the Manitou Fire Department, have concerns about that, given how dry things are. Jennifer says, wow, to the heat that we've got coming on the way. And yeah, if you like the heat, the next couple of days is for you. So let's talk about when that heat may break. And I'm going to go to the weather wall to do that, because there are a couple things to watch for here as we head into next week. And so I'm going to start off with the temperature aloft here, and notice how the hottest of the air is kind of off to our southwest. Friday and Saturday will be our warmest days. I think that's when we take out the all-time records in Colorado Springs, and Pueblo, Denver's probably doing that as well. But look at the weekend here. We've got this cooler air up to the north, and early Sunday morning, that is going to move into southern Colorado. It is a stark temperature drop from the all-time record warmth that we'll have. In fact, we're going to drop about 20 to 25 degrees or so for the back part of the weekend. And it's being driven by an upper level wave. So you see, as we move into Friday, the heart of this upper level ridge is getting closer to us here. That's why we'll have sinking air. But as this wave rounds the ridge, that's going to get us into northwest flow, going to start picking up the wind on Saturday. Saturday should be a high fire danger day across the area. Kind of flattens the ridge as we head into Sunday. Little couple ripples in the flow here. That looks a little bit different than yesterday. I'll come back to that here in a second. And there's a little bit of a kink that moves overhead into Monday. So that we'll start watching, because it didn't look like that a couple days ago. Then the ridge kind of reestablishes itself off to the west here, but there's another wave that rides the crest of that ridge, and for the late part of next week, we'll send another cold front across the area, and so we do have some ups and downs in the extended forecast. What we have to figure out is just, are we going to get any moisture with those things? And we're starting to see some signs that with those changes that I just mentioned, we might see at least a little bit, probably in the northern half of the state here, with the first of those two waves. So let's talk about that. On Sunday, we will have some clouds around. It'll be cool. It'll feel a lot different than what we had on Saturday. With that kink in the flow, what that's showing me here is there is some mid-level, kind of slightly cooler air. It's subtle, but that should create a little bit of instability as we move into Sunday afternoon, and maybe a little reinforcing front that moves across the area into Sunday evening. And so that may develop a little bit of rain and snow over the mountains and valleys, maybe a stray shower across the plains here, probably primarily to the north of the Palmer Divide, but certainly to the north of the Arkansas River. It doesn't look like anything significant right now. There might be a rumble of thunder in there. We'll have to wait and see, but we'll get rid of that as we head into Monday. So here's what the extended forecast looks like right now. The heat for the next several days, cooler for Sunday, probably partly cloudy to mostly cloudy here. Then we warm up into the middle part of next week. Wind starts picking up again, probably talking records again by Wednesday, probably another high fire danger day. So you get the windier days ahead of those fronts. Obviously windy as the fronts come in, because you're swapping out air masses, you're moving a lot of air around. We'll have that same situation here Wednesday into Thursday. For southern Colorado, precipitation chances don't look great, but they're not zero as that system moves overhead. So I'll keep watching that for the next couple of days. Pueblo, like Colorado Springs, probably taking out not just the daily records, but the all-time March records here as we head toward the weekend. But 90s to 60s is something that you'll notice. So those of you that don't like the heat, Sunday is your day over the weekend. But we start warming back up. I don't think we get as hot next week as we'll be here for Friday and Saturday, but we get another big temperature drop on the way at the minimum. And I'll tell you what I don't see in the extended forecast, my friends, is I don't see any huge March type storms. And I'll end with this today. This is ensemble forecasting. We've talked about this before. This is running many different computer models with slight tweaks to the initial conditions that ends up producing differences in the forecasts. What you're looking at here, the black lines, are the 500 millibar. That's usually what I show you when I have the jet stream or the energy in the atmosphere on my maps. It's kind of showing us the flow at about 18,000 feet. And notice here, as we head into the late part of March, we're into the 27th right here, we still have a ridge that's kind of dominating our weather. Now, it kind of flattens from time to time, but you also, through the period here, see lots of oranges on the map. What that means is that the height of that pressure surface is above average. When you take all of those different, there's 50 of them, different ensemble runs, and you average them out. So what I would want to see there, if I was wanting a March type storm, would be kind of a kink in those black lines, which we didn't really see. It flattened out a couple times, but some blue colors on the map. So do I have like a late March or an early, even early April? Honestly, let me see what that goes to. That goes out to maybe into early April. Actually, let me pull this back up here because I didn't go all the way to the end when I was showing you. Maybe early April here. Watch what happens. So this is Tuesday, March 31st, in the middle of the day. See how over the western U.S. there we start to get kind of a dip? And then off the coast of California, there's some blue. So that's kind of April Fool's Day into the 2nd. Maybe there's something to watch there. Now we're sitting here at March 18th, right? Got a long way to go. Obviously, the farther you get out into the future, the less. But when you get that far away, I'm just looking for patterns. That's a pattern shift. I'll watch that for the next couple of days. If we keep seeing that, maybe there's something to watch. Until then, probably not much. Okay. Before we are done for the day, let's get some of your comments. Love doing this with you guys here. Carol says, good morning. Carol, good morning to you. And Jim says, always the ups and downs, roller coasters, highs and lows, peaks to plains. Hope says, I'm loving the weather. Hope, get outside. Haley says, good morning. Thanks for keeping us informed. Jeff says, tell Kathy she can blame me for bringing the heat back from Texas. Yeah, we talked to him over the weekend. He was down in Texas. He was down there for, I think he said, an IndyCar race, and he came back. So, friends, that is it for me this morning. It's 6:54. It's fascinating to me how quick I can do like half hour's worth of stuff. Pretty interesting. Have a good day. Enjoy the heat. I mean, you might as well get outside, do some hikes, something like that, if it's going to be that warm. But again, records probably going down here over the next several days, and all-time March records as well. And you know what? Not good news for the snowpack. I'll have an update on that tomorrow. Have a good day. Thanks for watching.